Armin had always believed that trust was the foundation of every relationship. For 7 years, he and Zara had built their life together, a small apartment in Lahore. Shared laughter, morning coffees, and countless late-night talks about dreams. Zara was elegant, soft-spoken, and carried an aura that made her presence unforgettable. Her favorite perfume, a floral scent with a hint of vanilla, had once been the fragrance of love for Armin. It reminded him of the first time they met at a friend's wedding, where she smiled shyly and left behind that same scent as she walked away. But lately, that fragrance began to bother him. It wasn't the scent itself, it was how often it lingered on her. Even when she claimed to have spent the whole day at home, Armin began noticing small things: Zara's new dresses, her sudden obsession with makeup, and the way she smiled at her phone. At first, he tried to silence his doubts. "You're overthinking," he told himself. "She loves you. She's just trying to look good for you." But suspicion has a way of poisoning even the purest love. One evening, Armin returned home early from work. He wanted to surprise her, maybe take her out for dinner. The door was unlocked. Inside, Zara was on the phone, her voice low but soft, carrying a tone he hadn't heard in a long time: tender, affectionate. "I miss you too," she whispered. Then there was silence. She turned around and froze when she saw Armin standing there. "Who were you talking to?" he asked, his voice trembling but calm. "Just Sana," she replied quickly, naming her best friend. "We're planning something for her anniversary." Armin nodded, pretending to believe her, but her eyes darted away too fast, and that perfume, it was fresh, as if she had just sprayed it moments ago. That night, as she slept, he couldn't close his eyes. Every breath of hers, every move, carried that same scent that now felt like a lie. The next few days, Armin began observing quietly. Zara had started going out more often: shopping trips, salon visits, meeting old college friends. Once, he offered to drop her off, but she insisted she'd go alone. Each time she left, she wore the same perfume. It was as if she was masking something behind that scent, using it as a curtain to hide her secrets. Driven by doubt, Armin followed her one afternoon. His heart raced as he watched her enter a cafe at Gubberg. Through the glass window, he saw her sitting across from a man well-dressed, smiling confidently. They talked, laughed, and when the man reached out to touch her hand, Zara didn't pull away. Armin stood frozen outside, the world blurring around him. The truth had struck harder than any wound. He didn't confront her immediately. Instead, he returned home, numb and broken. The perfume lingered on her scarf she had left on the sofa, and for the first time, he realized how cruelly a scent could betray someone. When Zara returned that evening, she acted as though nothing had happened. She kissed his cheek, asking how his day was. Her perfume filled the air again, and Armin's throat tightened. "I've been thinking," he said softly. "Do you still love me, Zara?" She looked startled. "Of course I do. Why would you ask that?" "Because sometimes love smells like lies," he replied. His eyes didn't leave hers. For a moment, guilt flashed across her face before she looked away. That night, Zara couldn't sleep. She knew he had seen something in her eyes. The walls of deceit she had built were beginning to crumble. The man she met wasn't a stranger, he was her old flame. Someone she had promised herself she'd forgotten. But when he returned into her life months ago, loneliness had weakened her resolve. Armin's long hours at work, their growing silence at home, it had created a void she didn't know how to fill. The next day, Armin found the courage to confront her. "I followed you," he said simply. "I saw you with him." Zara's lips parted, and tears welled in her eyes. "Armin, I didn't mean for it to happen. It was a mistake," he interrupted her quietly. "A mistake is forgetting an anniversary, Zara." "This was a choice," she sobbed, clutching his hand. But he gently pulled away. The perfume she wore that day seemed stronger than ever, suffocating him. You used to wear that scent when you wanted to feel beautiful, he said bitterly. Now, it just smells like betrayal. Days turned into weeks. Zara moved out of the apartment, leaving behind only a few belongings and that same bottle of perfume on the dressing table. Armin couldn't bring himself to throw it away, but neither could he look at it without pain. Sometimes, when he passed by, the faint fragrance would escape from the uncapped bottle, filling the room with the ghost of a love that once was. Months later, Zara wrote him a letter. She didn't ask for forgiveness, only understanding. You gave me everything, she wrote, but somewhere along the way, I forgot to be honest with you and with myself. I don't expect you to forget what I did, but I hope you remember who we once were. Armin read it once and placed it in a drawer. He had stopped wearing his wedding ring, but he still carried the scar of trust broken too deeply. The scent of her perfume lingered in his memory like a wound that refused to heal. Sometimes, when he walked past strangers on the street and caught a hint of that same fragrance, he would freeze, his heart aching with a memory that time refused to erase. Love, he realized, doesn't always die, it transforms. Sometimes it becomes silence. Sometimes it becomes suspicion. And sometimes it leaves behind nothing but the perfume of deception, forever haunting the air where love once lived.